Hello once again and welcome back to day 3 of our 12 days of Christmas, where I am sharing some incredibly inspiring, moving, emotional, sweet, warm-hearted, just feel-good Christmas movies. And as part of that, I am also running a special Christmas-themed contest for all of my listeners. Every day I am giving you a clue as to something that we're leading up to. You will find out what the clue is, what is leading to on Christmas Day. And so I'm really looking forward to sharing all that with you. But in the meantime, you're going to get 11 clues, one every day of the first 11 days of the 12 days of Christmas. And then after that, I'm going to let you submit your answers of what you think all of the clues are leading to. And for everyone that submits a right answer, they are going to win a special prize. Now, what is the prize? You're going to have to wait till Christmas to find out. But I can guarantee it's going to be worth the wait. It is just so much fun. And we are talking about like the man who invented Christmas and then the original Grinch story by Dr. Seuss. And what a wonderfully just nostalgic thing that is to share at Christmas time with our friends and loved ones and everything else. But if you're curious about the third clue, I can't talk today. The third clue is simple. It's just a number, but don't forget, you've got to keep track of all of these. But our third clue is 1823. Now, what is that referencing? Like I said, you're going to have to wait and find out, but hopefully you're following along, and who knows, maybe some of you might have been able to figure it out already, but we're just going to have to wait and see. So, this is just so much fun, and of course, like I said, everybody's familiar with the 1966 version of Dr. Seuss's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. And that was such a timeless classic that when they redid it in 2000 with Jim Carrey, I was like, what am I going to think about this? It's like we are so familiar with the original animated story that it's like, okay, what are they doing to it if they are making it live action? And I have to say I was surprised. I was pleasantly surprised. Now you may be wondering why I'm saying pleasantly surprised. Well, because I wasn't expecting to like it, to be honest. I will say, okay, as good as it is, it's not as good as the original. I am giving it the 2000 version of How the Grinch Stole Christmas a 6 out of 10 on the Deputy scale. Now, mind you, that is still a good score on the Deputy scale. And there's some people that this is certainly their favorite movie of all time. But staying true to the Deputy scale, it earned a 6 out of 10. Now, I would love to share with you the original review that I had written for on MovieDeputy.com, and then I'll share with you a few other little tidbits about this movie that you likely didn't know. So there's a couple little interesting facts on there. But here's the original review. The classic Dr. Seuss story of How the Grinch Stole Christmas has been reimagined. This live-action adaptation of the classic features some names that are familiar and others that are new to the scene. Although it stays true to the basic story, there are some additions that add to the whole, but with it, it loses a little bit of the Seuss magic. The final result is definitely Seussical, with a little bit of Tim Burton inspiration mixed in. There's a little more added in as to the origin of how everything came to be the way it was. But adding to the whole story and taking away from a little bit of it, here we get to not only see the Grinch, but we get to kind of get to know him as well. That was not worded well with me back then. There's a special little who helps him find the true meaning of what it is that he's so desperately looking for. A bit of sarcasm, a lot of fun, and some great songs that you'll have stuck in your head for years to come. Is this a new classic or something more? That's for you to decide. So I hope you enjoyed the original review that I had written for Movie Deputy. And like I said, movies are my passion. I eat, sleep, and breathe movies. And so a lot of times, after I watch the movie, I'll go through and I'll research and look up a little bit of information about it. And it was kind of interesting because you saw Jim Carrey's whole transformation to the Grinch. And you're thinking, Okay, that had to be just torture. Well, after his first couple days of doing so, it was just the producers and the people in charge and Tim Burton, they actually hired somebody from the military who was familiar with basically torture and how to do the whole mind control thing to get through torture so that the person doesn't break. And they actually had to try to help Jim Carrey with that because it was like being tortured and it was just a mental break. And he's like, I can't do this. I just can't do it. Imagine how different the story would be with somebody else in that role. And so they ended up ultimately, because even with the help of this person that they've hired in to bring in to help Carrie with this, it wasn't enough to do it. So they ended up hiring somebody else basically who was the same like facial dimensions as Carrie that would come sit in the chair for all the hours and hours and hours of makeup with this silicone thing that fit over his face. And then after like all the hours and hours it took to do, then he would sit in the chair and be fitted with the pieces rather than sitting there for 6 to 8 hours just to get made up to be the Grinch. So that's just kind of an interesting little tidbit on that. And you may be thinking, oh my word, it's kind of a dark thing with the story. And okay, maybe it is just a little bit, but I mean, it's just, I cannot even imagine another character playing that part or turning into the Grinch or becoming the Grinch. It's just such an iconic character, and you had to really find somebody iconic to play that character. Now, Jim Carrey, as we know, a character does not even begin to suit what his personality is like. But ultimately, he gave us something special. And like I said, at that time, it was like, is this a new classic or is it something more? Some people love it, some people hate it, and there's a lot of people in between. But I hope that you are thoroughly enjoying this, as this is our third day of the 12 days of Christmas. And I apologize about my voice, it's breaking a little bit this morning. But we are just having so much fun with this. Now, you're going to have to come back tomorrow if you weren't already aware of it, that there has been another Grinch movie made since this one. And I believe it was 2017 or 18 that one came out. And so that's the movie that we are going to be talking about tomorrow. So be sure to follow along with our clues. Be sure to follow along for our 12 days of Christmas and the little bit of magic that I can help bring and add to your day along with this. So I am hoping that you are having an absolutely magical day, and I can't wait to come back and talk to you soon. Bye-bye.